in this case, so those three young men were, they were found guilty, but there was a fourth young man. I guess he was the driver. And of course, he, out of the 50, I think he got like $5,000. So, you know, naturally, I mean, all of it is, they're all obviously very young and not very well versed in the type of activity they were involved in, criminal activity, whatever. They just did something. They saw an opportunity, did something, and whatever. But
what they thought was a quick lick.
Yeah. So the young man, the driver, he took the stand, and he's probably facing 5 years or something like that. But the odd thing was that the defense lawyers tried to put Drake on the stand. Mm-hmm. They claimed that the killers were hired by Drake over his beef with XXX.
Wow.
I mean, like what? And so they actually like tried to send him, what you call it, where they try to get them to come to court, force them to come to court.
So they was trying to say like a murder for hire?
Yeah, they tried to subpoena him.
Well, it must not have been any credible evidence to back up their claim.
It sounded to me like an attempt, a raggedy attempt for the lawyer to, create a bigger picture, to redirect the blame. So it's like, okay, it's obvious because it was broad daylight. I'm sure there were plenty of cameras. It happened a while back that I don't remember exactly, but I remember seeing the video. I remember seeing the car and all that, whatever. That might have been in the aftermath, but there were videos and cameras around. So, and it was a bright, clear day. They clearly saw them. So it couldn't have been a situation where they're going to say, no, it wasn't me. It was definitely you. So the question becomes why, oh, did somebody put you up to it? And they tried to make it seem as though there was a possibility that Drake had put them up to it, which is.
But either way, I mean, when you commit a murder for hire, it's just as bad as a murder for robbery because your intention was still to enrich yourself. Those are the type of crimes that you don't want to go to court for when it's a crime for enriching yourself. It's still really the same type of murder. They still can execute you for a murder for hire. It's in Florida, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think in an instance like that, as you've seen so many times, whenever there's a shooter and then there's a person paying the shooter, they will give the shooter a way out just to get that the person who paid them. I had that happen with a friend of mine, a childhood friend of mine. He foolishly, he's home now. He did like 25 years, but he paid his girl's brother to go and shoot somebody. And when the guy was on his way to go do the shooting, he gets popped with the gun. He decides to tell the police that he was on his way to go shoot somebody and his brother-in-law had told him to do it. And they ended up giving him little to no time and gave dude 25 years. Larry Hoover is still sitting in prison at 150, 200 years behind a case where a guy shot somebody who'd robbed one of the GD spots. And that guy admitted that Larry Hoover did not tell him to do anything. And that guy ended up doing I think 19 years, came home and died on the street. And so he admitted he's the shooter. And he admitted that Larry did not tell him to do it, but because Larry was the leader of his organization, they put that on Larry. So Drake would have been a much more attractive target for the prosecutor than these guys if they could have made a case about him being involved in it.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that would have been a media frenzy,
Yeah.
It would have went crazy,
Yeah,
even the mention of it. And I think I did hear a little bit about something like this here, that there was some implications, but yeah, absolutely. The prosecutor would have been marveling at the mouth if he would have had any drop of evidence that Drake had anything to do with this.
Right.